Hello and welcome to Quest Complete. I'm your wonderful host, Beluge. I'm joined today by my co-host Benny.
Yo.
It was good, Benny. And today we have a special guest, Nerf Chags. How you doing, Chags?
Good, man. Good to be here.
Thank you for stopping by. Today we're going to be talking about co-op and video games. So, you know what? You want to start off, Chags?
Hot take. It's not. Co-op is not the same as it used to be.
I'm in full agreement with that.
Because of the day and age we live in, couch co-op is pretty much dead. You can't really go. You don't really go. You don't find yourselves going to your friend's house with your controller in your bag to sit down and play Halo for hours straight. You know, Halo is not even couch multiplayer anymore. It's on PC or Xbox, and there's no split screen. A lot of the games you find now are based on they want some sort of single player pseudo movie experience, or there's a narrative they want you to see. It's not really about just playing the game anymore. And again, PS5 actually has no games. You know, just saying, there's no exclusive PS5 games out here right now which even have multiplayer. So ain't the same. Just ain't the same. Yeah.
It's true. I mean, to be fair, I never really had a whole lot of those experiences, outside of just messing around with weird ass games on the N64 with my brother, or all the weird shit we used to do on the PlayStation 2. But yeah, local multiplayer is definitely the deceased. Rest in peace. But we still have a lot of games that are actually really engaging and a lot more satisfying when you do in multiplayer. What have we been doing lately, Benny? We've been doing Minecraft on Matt's server.
Yeah, but that's also mildly multiplayer focused. As
True.
an entire game, it's not like a mode or anything like that.
Right, but you
So
can't do
definitely-
single player in that.
You can.
Yeah.
It's just the same game mode.
That's fair. That's fair.
Well, and I feel like the worst part about not having couch co-op be pushed by developers anymore either is the fact that I don't know a whole lot of people who want to do it anymore either. I have this friend who's I mean, yeah, I'll play Guilty Gear. I'll play Guilty Gear Rev, right?
Yeah.
And he's I'll just wait for it to have good netcode. And I'm okay, well, I could just bring over my stick and we could just play games. I have the game. I
Right.
just bring it.
Yeah.
And he's just I'd rather not.
Oh.
So, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Society's a weird thing, and people are weird. So, I don't know. Do people just not like sitting next to each other anymore? Is that what's going on here?
I think I mean, as you get older, schedules just don't really line up that much anymore, man. That's the sad part of this. Gone are the days where you can just wake up at 7 and just play games, and then at 6 p.m. in the evening your friends can come over after school and just can play more games. It's just commitments. You want to get to bed early. It's just weird. It's weird. You've grown up. You're no longer that guy.
True, and you kind of have to adapt, and maybe it's that games haven't adapted to us getting older, and that's why co-op seems to be in a very weird place right now.
Yeah, plus the internet.
Oh yeah, the internet. I always forget about the internet.
Yeah.
I will say one thing. It's pretty interesting how grind times do seem to be more focused toward people who have a ton of time versus people who work and have a lot of responsibility. Even when a game seems like it's targeted for adults.
No, and that is true. Well, that's problematic with RPGs in general, is that they really want you to grind and get the loot. In some of the older Monster Hunters, it's what is it, a 2% chance for drop for a gem? So just well, I'm guessing hunting 100 Rathaloses today. Whereas in Rise you do it for 5 or 6 times, and you're oh good, I got it. You move on next thing.
To be fair, that guy did hunt 50 Magnum Mallows and not get a single orb, so
Yeah, sometimes RNG is just fast, bro. I don't know. I think at least with Monster Hunter, right? It's a thing where you can always there's workarounds, I guess, to grind.
Yeah.
Because there's so much RNG, you can probably make something that's maybe not as efficient, but 90% efficiency.
No, absolutely.
You know?
Like it's like a big thing for me in World is like, well, I don't have all these decorations, so I'm just gonna use what I got until I get what I want.
Yeah.
That might push you to use something you didn't think you actually liked, which is pretty cool.
Apart
Exactly.
from Interglaive, I'm not using it.
That's
Oh,
one thing.
you not like bugs? Is this just Chags have a bug phobia?
It's I don't know, man. I just feel like I want to feel like I'm hitting something. Bro. I think it's one of the reasons I didn't get into Dark Souls. Like, you know, when you can see it can be really good,
Yeah.
and you honest like you want to get into it, but you don't like the sort of kinetic feedback you're not really getting.
No, I
That's the-
absolutely like. I played this one game called like I think it was called like Nara something Blade Point, and I was like, oh sweet, it's like a hack and slash multiplayer. This will be awesome. But, like I'm picking it up and I'm playing it. I'm just like, this don't feel right. I don't like this.
Yeah.
So I could feel you there.
But no, it's a. I'm just like talking smack, man. Interglaive, it's okay. You guys are alright.
I mean, I started with 4 ultimates. I'm just like, don't talk bad about the insect clay. The insect clay is great, even though yeah, it has some weaker points and has some stronger points. So
Well, until World, it had one of the worst subsystems, which is upgrading insects. So I'm just gonna say that.
yeah, no, in 4 it was really confusing and weird. But I feel like they kind of nailed it down a little better in GU.
Yeah.
Anyway,
What's your opinion of it in Rise?
in Rise,
Yeah.
I actually really like it in Rise. It feels really good.
Don't you feel like you got nerfed a bit because of the lack of mounting and whatnot?
I feel like it makes up for. I mean, I feel like the amount of mobility it has, the amount of options it brings to the table, kind of makes up for that. It's still really good at building up like what is it, Wyvern Ride damage or whatever. It's like I'll end up like compared to like running like aerial sword and shield in Rise, I get like maybe 1 or 2 rides on a monster, but I can get like 3-ish if I do insect glaive and I'm like spamming that air time.
Honestly, I don't think it's the mounting that nerfed it. I think it's the fact that you can only get 3 jumps off a monster's head, and then you have to come down instead of it being based on how much stamina you have. Which is a little rough, in my opinion.
But that was what it was like in like base world though.
No, you could go for pretty much ever until you run out of stamina. But the
Really?
stamina cost, I think, was higher in World for that kind of stuff.
And maybe that was it, because I remember only being able to do that 3 times in base world.
Yeah, but it happened
What
naturally. It wasn't forced to come down. Go ahead.
Gotcha.
What are you guys' main weapons in Monster Hunter at least?
Monster Hunter, I
Yeah.
jump around quite a bit, but like I really enjoy the Charge Blade. I really enjoy the Great Sword, and I love Switch Axe.
Cool.
And I'm personally, I used to be Switch Axe Lance, and I think I'm slowly flowing towards Charge Blade Lance. Because Charge Blade, at least in Rise, has felt very good since launch. So
Yeah.
I had some growing pains with it, but it's starting to come back around. I'm starting to like it a bit more.
I think everyone kind of wants to be the Charge Blade guy. Charge Blades are really cool.
They are.
They are like, I think it's one of the coolest weapons in the game.
No,
I've tried
seriously.
it, but I feel like there's a lot. It's got a lot of There's different ways to make it to play Charge Blade. I find myself trying to like play all of them, and I can't. Obviously, you can't be that person. So
It's really
find
difficult.
it hard.
time.
I mean, for a while, I'd watch speedrunners and I just try to mimic what they do, but like after a little while, I just kind of incorporated some of their tactics into how I want to play it, and it just kind of has a nice little medley for me now.
Like, I'm a simpleton. I play Sword and Shield and Great Sword.
Oh hell yeah!
So
Ah, the best one.
Oh, I love Sword Shield. Sword Shield's so good in Rise, like it's like hot crack fire.
it's so broken, man. It's so unbalanced.
I love it.
That count is so ridiculous, and I love it. Just everything I ever wanted. But yeah, no, sorry, I put you off track yet.
Oh, dude, it's all
No
good.
worries.
Monster Hunter's a co-op game. We're talking about co-op. It's totally chill.
That's cool. Like that's a game that hasn't really stopped being like that's. I think that's a game that I love. Monster Hunter is my favorite game.
Oh, absolutely.
Nice about co-op. The co-op doesn't really. It's literally co-op and single player are literally the same thing for some people. There's no downsides to it. There's nothing you have to sacrifice. Just go coordinate with your team, and like the good thing about that game is that when you're in sync with the person you're playing with, you end up doing the same thing. If you're using the same weapon, that's just like it's beautiful to watch. There's nothing cooler than looking at like 3 people or 4 people doing like, I don't know, Helm Splitter or True Charge Slash, and everyone connect at the same time. It's just it's awesome, man.
It's beauty. It's pure beauty is what it is.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the only mild issue Monster Hunter has with co-op is just weird scaling choices in games where it's like trying to balance being able to do single player throughout the entire game, and then sometimes it just doesn't try, but like sometimes it works because it's nice to be more incentivized to play with friends, but it's weird.
You talking like
Weird
older
thing.
Monster Hunter, or is that like a thing in Rise?
Well, kind of like how World and Rise are kind of putting that to the wayside of like heavily co-op incentivized G ranks,
I got you.
because Gen is still very heavily incentivized. Can I beat a G rank Teostra on my own?
Yes.
Yes. Will it take 25 minutes? Yes.
And who's got that kind of time, especially with them drop rates?
Yeah.
Oh, I will
Still
say. Well, that being said, sorry, quick tangent.
No, it's okay.
That being said, GU is still probably one of my favorite games to play in G rank, just because you hop onto a lobby, somebody posts some random ass bullshit, and you're just like, all right, let's see what happens. And you got like guy doing aerial insect glaive, you got Fowler like heavy bowgun, you got me on freaking adept switch axe, you got like hammer, alchemy, whatever, launching fireballs. Just like, I don't know what's happening, but I love it.
Yeah, no, G rank. There's nothing better than watching G rank gameplay.
No, sir.
Obviously, I think it was my first Monster Hunter. So I tried GU afterwards, and I couldn't get into it just because I like the slice of life. But from what I finished the quests, like the main multiplayer quests, the village, I think the hub quests.
Yeah.
And one thing they got right was the styles. The styles, the amount of content it had in the game. Like Valor Greatsword, which is amazing. It was amazing to play. There was nothing. Oh my gosh!
Right.
Was it Lion? Is it Lion's Maw? Where
Yes.
you get like your face goes black and you have like red glowing lines. Like this Monster Hunter was like the most anime game I ever played in my life. That was awesome.
No,
Or
I
just
love
anime.
it so much. Like, the portable team, they were just like, let's just go absolutely nuts and let's see what happens.
It's a love letter to Monster Hunter.
Oh, so true.
Did you guys ever play games like Streets of Rage?
I did a little bit. I did a bit of Final Fight when I was in high school, mainly because there was a Street Fighter character I mained that's from Final Fight, so it's kind of like a side-scrolling beat 'em up.
Was it Cody or Guy?
It was Cody.
Yeah, Cody's cool, man.
No,
Cody's
seriously.
cool.
And then you hop over to Street Fighter 5, and it's just like, his toolkit's better, but Street Fighter 5 is such a tortured fighting game. It's just like, ugh.
Yeah, it's a bit controversial, but every side-scroller games are cool. Streets of Rage 4 is like the last couch co-op game I played. No, second to last. The other one was oh my gosh, it's made by Arc System Works. These 2 schoolgirls, and they fight like a bunch of bullies.
What is that called?
What's it called? What is it called?
To Google.
Quick to Google.
Googling right now.
Googling.
River City Girls.
River Sea Girls. All right.
River City. Yeah, these two high schoolers. Their boyfriends get abducted and got players, and they just go around beating people up.
That's anime as hell.
Yeah, man. It really is. But,
Is there a Steam port for that?
not sure.
I'm gonna have to do some
Played
research.
on console.
I
But,
got
yeah.
you.
Like I think that and Streets of Rage were the last the couch more like co-op games I played, and it's just the feeling of playing with your friend and just you're both yelling at the screen, just saying you missed that guy, you dropped cash, or even having to revive your friend and there's like mobs surrounding you. It's just you don't get that anymore, man.
Oh no. Was it? It's have you ever played Golden Axe?
No.
There,
But I wanted to.
the last arcade in all of Oregon was at the coast, And so me and my brother would go to the coast sometimes. We'd go to that arcade. They had a Golden Axe machine that had the tool, like it's like a gauntlet machine basically, where it have the two sticks next to each other. And oh my god, we would scream and yell at that game. It was like when somebody went down, it's like, quick, quick, give them the pot. We need, because you have to like throw a pot at somebody to like revive them or something. I don't remember what the joke was, but like I totally get that where you're yelling at the arcade machine.
Good man, it's good times, man.
Ah, shit, I totally forgot about that until you fucking mentioned it. Like, oh god, that takes me way back.
What would you say your favorite like couch multiplayer game was? Couch co-op game, sorry. Of all time.
Of all time? I mean, I don't really have one, but like, I would say Scott Pilgrim, that game's up there, but like, the one that takes the cake for me, it's not really like couch co-op, but it's something I play with my brother all the time. It would have to be like Street Fighter 4. It's like, oh my god, the crazy shit we got up to playing that game. Cause he mains like M Bison, I main Cody, so we'd always have like these crazy back and forths.
But, see, I tried to get into Street Fighter, but I thought that game was too hard.
It's like there's a huge barrier for entry, and like it's very like spacing, like footsies based, like I don't know, it's very I don't know.
Do you know what it was for me? It wasn't necessarily the spacing and the footsies, it was linking together strings that I found hard.
That is true. Like the input window and timing is very, very tight in Street Fighter, and that's a very classic Street Fighter-y type thing.
Like my silly Unga Bunga brain could not just get light punch, light punch, light punch, sweep. That was too hard for me. So
well, if you think that's hard, play Third Strike, Street Fighter Third Strike, and they have like this weird ass parry system that's frame perfect. It's just like, oh god.
Well, do you know what's funny about that?
Yeah.
I could get a parry because I like the sound of it.
Right.
I could get a parry, and I respect that about Street Fighter 3. Like, I really respected that, but I would try harder to get parries than I would at getting combos. And when I played Street Fighter 3 for like a day, I could parry more than I can combo.
I mean,
that makes any sense.
Were parries good in that game though?
No, it wasn't even that important. That's the thing. It's just like it was just satisfying to land. I'll parry something and lose the match, but because I parried it, like I won.
I mean, that being said, like you may have not been playing optimally, but you were having fun. I feel like that's more important.
Yeah, that doesn't matter in the tournament though. I'll come on, I'll be like,
no, seriously. Well, my brother hit me up a little while ago. He took third in a Street Fighter 4 tournament at like, I think it was like 3 or 4 months ago. Like he made top 3, and I'm just like, were you playing M Bison? He's like, well, yeah. What else would I play? I'm just like, what the fuck? How'd you do that? Because like M Bison's not like A tier. He's like he floats between C and D tier. So some matchups you really gotta put in the effort.
That's the thing though, because it's like the surprise low tier, isn't it? Because someone's so low tier or something like that, or not the highest tier, not everyone knows how to play him. So you're gonna find people like, oh,
that's true. This guy? Yeah, because it's like, what is it? It's like in Smash Brothers when you pick from like lower D to F tier, and then you start playing online. People don't know how to deal with you.
Yeah, but you know how to deal with them because you got to like run uphill the whole time.
Exactly. No, exactly. I feel like that's why me Gunner's a bit too strong in Ultimate. It's like a lot of people don't understand how to deal with their bullshit.
You just gotta play him more, innit? You just have to play him more. That's the thing. But you're only gonna find the people who sweat. And that's the caveat, man. That's
the thing I hate. Is you get on and I forget who's the girl with like the green hair and like the shield staff. Like those players are always so sweaty. It's just like an exit, turn off the switch. I'm going to bed.
Yeah. yeah. That's Palutena, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I think what do you guys, in terms of co-op games, right? What genre of co-op games do you think are the best? Like shooters, side scrollers, action RPG, what would you say is the best type of co-op experience?
I would have to say my favorite type co-op experience would have to be, I'd have to say action RPG, because I do a lot of Monster Hunter, and I've recently got back into Diablo 2, and Diablo 2 multiplayer is so much fun.
Hey, I'm gonna say
Go
something.
ahead.
No, you go.
Yeah, Benny, go ahead.
So I can't really say what I think is the best, but I can say what I've had the best time doing. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah?
And my favorite memories are playing through the Halo 3 campaign with my sister.
Oh, hell yeah.
That game, it's so dumb. It's like, if you take it seriously, it's great, right? But if you just play it and just take none of it seriously and just like bodies flailing all over the place, using the choppers to like drive around, go all crazy like it's a roller dirt, it's insane. But if I had to say something recent, I would say playing Stardew Valley with my mom for like hours and hours and hours.
Oh.
Like just like working on a farm together, managing funds, not being told when she spent a whole bunch of money and I just see all the money gone. Like
Oh, bro, you're so lucky that your mom likes video games. Like,
Your mom sounds cool, man.
yeah, no, seriously.
She's cool. She's cool. She's getting very addicted to Don't Starve right now, so. And I can't play that game. That game's hard as nails.
Oh, I love Don't Starve. Like, I used to play that game before there was co-op. Like, I loved it so much I had it on my phone. I'd, like, play it at work, like, while we're waiting for, like, the concrete to show up or whatever. And people are like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm gathering carrots before winter. Because I'm gonna die if I don't have enough carrots.
Be honest, I would say management games are probably the most fun for me. So just stuff where you kind of like have to work on a project together, not necessarily like a boss or stuff like that, but
yeah.
Working on expanding your farm, or like in Don't Starve, getting to winter, getting through seasons, and like surviving as long as you can, building a base, all that stuff. Very, very fun.
What's your preference, Chags, when it comes to co-op?
I'd say because I like Monster Hunter action RPG.
Mm-hmm.
However,
yes,
I would say shortly under that would be games like side scrollers, and third place is like survival.
Oh, hell yeah.
I never got to play Minecraft because of Minecraft PC when I was younger. But
Oh.
I tried Valheim, and I really enjoyed that.
Oh yeah, how is Valheim? I've seen people streaming that, and it looks really cool.
When you have the right amount of people on the server, Valheim is amazing. But it takes real teamwork. You have to, obviously. I mean, I don't know how many survival games you've only picked up in a bit of Minecraft. But obviously, you're there. You're both naked. You guys just build the base and whatnot. And then you have to like find caves. You kill trolls with like spears and stuff, and then you really overcome that. Then you can actually make armor, and you have to actually sail the world. Be careful of sea serpents. You arrive at different places. If you arrive at the wrong island, you're finished because like these mosquitoes will kill you. It's ridiculous.
Shit.
You can mine ore. You can make like wagons to get the ore on because it's too heavy. There's so much micromanaging, and then the base building itself is really nice. Like you have to make sure you can actually, when you make a fire, you have to make sure that you have a roof and there's, I don't know, a hole in the roof for like, or a chimney essentially for the smoke to get out.
Gotcha.
That. Plus, it's
that's
like
cool.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
sounds
it's
like there's
like
so
low
much
res.
like little details in that. It sounds like that's a really interesting experience.
Like obviously Minecraft did it first, but
Right, but that's
Uh,
like to like a way lesser extent. Like, I mean, the 64-bit style of the game kind of speaks volumes to that. But like, Valheim
Yeah.
sounds like big boy Minecraft. Like, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna do me a big boy.
Well, it definitely sounds like it's
Yeah.
appealing to a different audience,
Indeed.
which is good. If
yeah,
you try to compete with Minecraft, it just doesn't work. But if you try something else and you do it well, then there you go.
I mean, yeah, Minecraft has a really good formula, but if you do something like Valheim where you tweak it to like, I guess, an older audience, that's something new entirely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
That's
be
the
real. I
thing.
will never understand Rust.
I will never understand that game. And then apparently there's these guys in Rust, like the Mickey Mouse clan, that just run around murdering people while they talk like Mickey Mouse.
What the hell?
That's
I'm gonna
the
Google
thing.
that.
It's fucking
I'm gonna
weird.
Google that.
Mm.
That
Is
sounds
Valheim-
hilarious.
Only on computer?
I think so. I don't really play much consoles anymore.
It did come out last year, so if it is, yeah, that would make sense. Okay.
Yeah,
So-
I think it's still on Steam Early Access, something like that.
Okay, it'll probably get a
okay.
port eventually. It's only
Let's
20
hope.
bucks. What?
Oh, really? It's only $20? No wonder everybody's playing it.
Damn.
Damn.
Damn. I'm gonna put that on my backlog.
So there's bosses as well. There's like world bosses and stuff. It's good, man. It's good. You need like a certified squad, you know. you
Okay,
can rely on.
it sounds really good, but there's one more requirement this game needs. Is there fishing?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in.
I feel like if a game like that didn't have fishing, that'd be kind of bad.
No, seriously.
Just a little
Wait,
bit.
no. I've lied. I've
Oh.
lied to you.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
No, I've lied. I've lied.
There's no
But you
fishing?
can. No, but you can tame
You could tame what?
wild animals.
Oh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was watching this guy, like, he had, like, a brewery all set up, and he had, like, all his dogs out front to, like, guard the brewery.
Yeah.
That's
That's
cool.
actually
Yeah.
really cute.
My bad.
I keep my fingers crossed for that fishing.
They're not different fishing. Not different though. Did you guys ever play No Man's Sky?
Benny
Yes.
did. I wanted to,
Yes.
but that game was such a mess on launch, I'd never touched it.
But how is it
Babe.
now?
It is, honestly, I don't think they're ever gonna get to what they were promising, because if you look back at what they were saying, it's just not even feasible, right? But what they've delivered on so far, it's an excellent co-op game, survival mechanics, and you guys can you can get your own space freighter, so you can all dock your ships in like a giant ship and then go to different solar systems together, but then like branch off and go to each planet and stuff like that. You don't actually have to go to the same planet together. You can just be like hanging out in the same server.
Kind of
really cool.
nice.
Oh yeah, I saw this really cool GIF of this guy. It was like when you meet another person who's also in like VR doing No Man's Sky, like they like wave at each other and then they do like a high five. It's like, oh, that must have been really cool.
I've been trying to get people to play it for so long, but everybody's apprehensive because of the reputation, which I get.
Yeah.
I do get.
No, I was too, and then you told me what like all the changes and like fixes and like updates were. I'm just like, oh, that sounds really freaking cool.
It still is niche though, so you kind of have to like the gameplay loop,
Right.
but it's a very good gameplay loop.
Well, I'm a very old man set in my ways, so I don't know if I'll ever do it.
Ooh, I don't know if this counts as co-op. What do you guys think of the, like Elite Dangerous / EVE Online style of like online economies?
Oh, that game. That game sounds super interesting. The implications of it alone are very, very perplexing to my mind state, because like a game that has a player-driven economy, like if everybody stops playing it, that means everything's gonna just fucking crash, right? But then you got people probably like see patterns developing and then start manipulating like the economy, so like they start making bongo bucks, and it's just like, wait, if you have that much time to be manipulating an economy in a game, why don't you just go play the stock market and make some actual money?
Yeah.
This one has lights and sounds though.
Hmm.
I mean, I think you can probably make money off Elite Dangerous as well. That's a funny thing. You can probably
Oh, can you?
sell assets. Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
shit, you're right. Yeah, because they did that in fucking World of Warcraft.
yeah.
Yeah.
In a way, it's kind of cooler because I mean you're actually flying spaceships and making money, selling stuff. I mean, I get what you're saying. Like you probably should invest if you can do that. You should probably invest in the stock market. But it's almost also there's no spaceships involved, so. You know.
Well, I have this thing in like my brain where like the stockbroker comes home. He's like, ah,
Yeah.
God, finally stock market's closed. Whew! Takes off his shoes, undoes his tie, sits down. He's like, now I'm gonna fucking manipulate some Elite Dangerous, make me some imaginary money. It's like in his mind, that's the only kind of fun he can have.
Dude, that's not just imaginary money.
Yeah.
People have sold chips for thousands of real-world dollars.
Oh my God, really?
I think that's
Yeah,
online.
yeah.
What the fly? I'm in the wrong line of business.
Yeah, man,
All right, everybody,
this is
shut down this Monster Hunter bullshit. We're all playing Elite Dangerous.
You know the craziest story I heard from EVE Online?
Oh, do tell.
So apparently they just had like this big space station when one dude was running it, and like he was getting rent from all the people who were running stores in it.
Whoa.
And one dude blew it up, right?
Bro,
Oh.
And then they were like, "So what are you gonna do?" Talking to the guy who like owned it, he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go kill him, because you can do that because it's a video game.
Yup.
You can just go murder him
Yeah.
and get like
fuck.
money because of the bounty."
Me and my boys, we
Bro.
fucking strapped up. We fucking rolled on his ass. We're putting this boy down.
put him in the ground, man. Put him
Yeah.
in the ground. Bro.
Nobody
Fuck.
disrespect my boy like that.
It's just it's like I'm gonna stick to my co-op games. I'm like that's too much. Like there's all this fancy economy stuff where you're like actually going with the flow of the market. Also, you could get hunted and like you get a bounty on you, and like you have to interact with all these people, and there's a social hierarchy, and it's like that's too much. I'm too small brain for that.
Yeah, that's way too much like real life. Like I play video games to get away from that shit.
That's true, man. That's true. But at the same time, imagine actually getting pulled up on. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That must be kind of fun.
Oh, absolutely.
I think a lot of games. One thing I've noticed, I don't like about video games. Have you noticed there's not a lot of games that look like games anymore?
That is true.
You know,
like
when-
I like was it? I recently purchased Guilty Gear Overture, and that's a game that came out in like 2007. It's a game that looks like a game. Like it doesn't look bad. Like you look back on some of the older games, like oh that polygon ass is not an ass, it's polygons. But like some games are very definitive. Like this is a game look to them. And now these days you have these like ultra realistic. Look at the pores on this guy, you know. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, why can't it just look like a game? Like it doesn't have to look like real life. It can still be very stylized. Like was it Guilty Gear Strive with that like 2D, 3D? Like
Yeah.
that those let's oh god, I love that so much. Like oh my god.
That.
I still want to go ahead. Sorry.
No, go on. No, you go. You go.
Okay. Sorry to tangent, but I still want to figure out how they do that witchcraft, where they go to like that certain perspective to make the model look 2D, but then the second they move it just a little bit, now the model looks 3D. How are they doing that?
Oh, it's entirely 3D. It's done to camera. So, they have like lots of controls. That control every like say for example your femur, your shins, your fingers and whatnot, and then you have extra controls for all the clothes and garments, and then it's all animated on maybe 2s or 1s to emanate a sort of style you like and look as good to camera as possible. If you're to like pause the game or get into that game and just turn the camera, it's all very distorted. And
Okay,
in the industry, we use the term cheating.
Oh, so it's like plane shifting then.
Think of it as you've seen Wallace and Gromit, right?
I have. I love Wallace and Gromit.
You know how that's made, right? Stop motion sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Puppeteering.
Yeah.
It's like that, but done to one camera. That's it.
Ah, okay.
So it's entirely 3D. They've got like these. The reason why it looks so good is because they've got these specific normals, which controls how light deforms
Mm-hmm.
or how light reacts to the polygons, which activate and deactivate on specific angles. So that's why the character models and the shading. So, but yeah,
Okay.
it's entirely 3D.
Fascinating.
Which I get, but the specific thing that I was getting at was how I've been paying very close attention, and this is still an excerpt as well. They did this in both games, where when it's in the static fighting game camera, right, not the counter camera or anything where like it moves
Yeah.
perspective, it seems very 2D. Like it feels like they're doing like a forced perspective thing where you're like looking at it at such a static angle that really looks flat. But the second there's like a change in angle, everything looks 3D. I don't know how they're fooling me to think it looks 2D, you know?
They're just really good.
I guess so. Like it's
They're
just,
just-
I want to
yeah.
figure that out.
They're
It's so
just
cool.
really, really good. Like, probably could be the focal length of the camera. It's just also done to that perspective, isn't it? It's just done very well. They've got really talented animators that just make it look as 2D as possible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is even the first time they've done something like that. I mean, if you play, is it? What's the name of that game? Unist or Unikill or Undernight?
Oh, Undernight?
Yeah. They use 3D models and then they trace over it, or rotoscope, sorry, to get specific angle, to get the proportions right. You know.
Is that kind of how?
Oh, is that like the drawn on 3D like in Beastars?
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Not quite. It's like you trace it. Whereas
Yeah.
Beastars is also 3D.
But it's 3D,
yeah,
but
it's
then
just,
they like to draw over the 3D models.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
But yeah, man, it's cool, man. Like honestly, when I saw Exard for the first time, or any like Guilty Gear on action, I just thought, is that 2D? Is that 3D? I had to like watch the trailer like 2-3 times back to realize, oh yeah, it's actually 3D.
Yeah.
Damn.
I don't know what
What-
Hocus Pocus it is, but my eyes love it.
What's like nobody talks about that, but it's a real thing. I could tell. They're trying to force us to think it looks 2D at times. Because
Well,
I don't know, sorry.
it's like the bandit axe in Dark Souls 2. Nobody talks about it because we all know how good it is.
it's a really weird comparison, but I get it.
But it's true. The thing's monstrous.
So going back to what you said about they don't make games look like games anymore, I feel like I could speak to that in like a gameplay stance as well, where they don't feel like they're making games to feel like games anymore. They all feel like they're trying to immerse us in something instead of being like, because my personal favorite like modern shooter is Doom because it's an arcade shooter. It's not trying to like be gritty or realistic. It's like you're doing things at like lightning speed and just trying to do it fast and get a bunch of points. It's essentially a high score game, but in 2020 instead of like an older one. It's just good to play a gritty game sometimes.
No, seriously. Well, that's because Doom has like roots, like solid ass, like this is what Doom is roots, and they definitely play to that in those newer Doom titles, which is absolutely the game's strength. But I feel like a lot of legacy games end up going away from the roots, and like you can modernize it, but you got to keep the core there, you know?
Yeah, you're right. I think we've both got some interesting points there. I think a lot of directors. This is like a hot take of mine.
Oh, go for it.
They don't really want to make games. They want to make films, but games is as close they'll get. So that's why you kind of get games like Heavy Rain.
Before we talk bad about David Cage and Quantic Dream, to be fair, Heavy Rain is definitely more of a movie than a game. I will give you that. It is so true. And there's even like parts in Beyond Two Souls, even when you do try to fail, the game automatically plays for you. So, but at the end of the day, I still love those games. And what, Ben?
Hideo Kojima.
Well, we're getting to that. We're on Quantic Dream. We'll get to Kojima Productions in like 5 minutes. I promise. Okay.
Okay. I'll let you go.
But like, no, seriously. Well, like games like Detroit and stuff. It's just like you have all these branching paths and all these different options. It's like the gameplay itself isn't the game. The game is the choices that you make. You know. So it's not the gameplay itself isn't the gameplay. It's how you go through the story, which is the gameplay, and how you like tackle different situations. Like there's like the fight between the FBI guy and the guy at the junkyard. Like that fight can play out like 7 or 8 different ways, and that can affect like one of the like 7 endings in that game. So it's like you're playing through this experience, and you're not necessarily like doing like hardcore unga bunga gameplay. Like no, you're just doing inputs on the screen, but like the real experience of the game is like figuring out the best way to go about that situation. Because like at the very beginning of that fight, he's like he starts having a seizure or whatever, needs to take that medication. It's like, well, if you take that medication, you've locked yourself in ending 3, where he like absolutely loses his shit or can die in like the last sequence of the game, right? So you need to make the mistake of dropping the medication, then you have to fight him half cocked, and it's just like, oh my god, I did it, I beat him. I'm not getting the shitty ending 3. He gets to live, you know?
See, I hear that, and that's awesome, right?
Right.
But where's the punch button? Do you know what I mean?
I do believe there is shit in my pants right now.
Where's the punch and block button? Do you know what I mean?
It's R1, hold L3, and then also press triangle at the same time.
It's like, I mean, I could read like one of those create your own story books for that.
Right.
You know?
No, and I totally get that, but like experiencing that and like I don't know, but you definitely have a point. Hang on. Yes. Oh, did you give me snacks?
Oh, tell you.
I have snacks, boys.
Thursday on Monday.
All right, I'll get you something nice. That was my mother.
Nice.
Anyway, where were we?
Punch buttons.
Punch buttons. Right. But you see, the thing is, David Cage.
I'm gonna have to agree with Jags on this because it's not that it needs it; it's the fact that it really shows how bad like the combat air quotes is because it's not a combat game.
No,
It
and
didn't
that's true. It's
work
a
that out.
story game. It's a story sequence. It's not a combat sequence. It's a story sequence, and I fully understand that.
Because it's like when it's not great, it's
But we can still agree that it's art, right?
in its own
I
way.
mean,
Just give me
that's a
this
cool
check.
question.
Let's just give
No,
me this check, please. I need it.
Yeah, alright, yeah, whatever. Yeah, sure.
All right, thank you, thank you. Oh god.
Oh shit.
But you're right. There needs to be a punch button.
So anyway, continuing the mild hate.
Hideo
for David
Kojima?
Cage. What?
We're not getting to Kojima now.
Oh, I just 1 second. I actually have a thing to say
Go
about
for
David Cage.
Oh no, you have a thing about? Okay, never mind. David Cage.
So I rewatched the concept video that they
Mhm.
had for Detroit Become Human, right?
Yeah,
The
I
think
remember
it's
that
called
came out
Laura.
like yeah.
That's better than the entirety of Detroit Become Human.
Well, how?
It's a better short film than it is an actual movie.
And you are absolutely right. And I was blown away by that when I saw that. I was just like, is this a movie? Like, what is this? And I'm like searching around, I'm looking stuff up, and I'm just like, it's fucking Quantic Dream. Okay. Alright, let's see where this goes.
Now, I love Detroit Become Human, probably for not all the reasons they actually wanted me to love it for. But I think the problem is it doesn't elaborate on that problem. It repeats that same problem in different scenarios.
And
doesn't
I think you're very right. 'Cause when you
ask
make a
questions.
branching story like that, the direction can go so many different ways. It's hard to keep everything in line and keep everything meaningful, especially when things can play out like 12 different ways.
Yes.
So I can understand where you're coming from, but you also need to understand like making something like that is very difficult. I'm not trying to justify some of the decisions they made, but like I understand coming from like a director's perspective of sometimes you end up having like the easiest solution is there is no solution.
Yeah, that's fair.
Can we talk about Kojima now?
Yes.
Has everybody here played a Metal Gear game? Let's just start off by saying that.
I put a disc in my console when I turned it on. Have I finished one? No.
That counts. Welcome to the Metal Gear Brigade, Chags.
I beat
I-
5.
You beat 5? Was that your first one?
Yes.
I'm not gonna talk bad about you for that being your first. It's probably one of the better ones. Like it took all the things Peace Walker did and all the things that 3 started and kind of perfected them in like a modern gameplay format.
Nice.
Yeah, so you could like play the game at like your own pace. You didn't feel like locked into being like, I just have to wait. This is what the game wants me to do.
Yeah, but like, okay, I'm not trying to be,
Oh, go for it.
but I've heard some stories about like hour cutscenes.
Oh yeah, no, there are some 2-hour cutscenes in Metal Gear 3 where at some point where you're like on the freaking comm radio, it's just like, yeah, you need to learn how to control your bowel movements. Because sometimes a soldier in some situation just has to just hang out. Now watch the fucking cutscenes. I'm just like, bro,
What?
because you can't pause any of these cutscenes. You have to like
What?
sit there and take it.
What? What?
Kojima.
And then the sequence with the ladder where it takes you like 15 minutes to climb the ladder. Everybody knows that one, right? I
Is
thought that
like-
was like the coolest shit ever, and then I replayed MGS3. I'm just like, why am I not at the top of this ladder yet?
was that because it's just like loading something? I know like some games like they'll hide loading times with like ladders and elevator sequences. Is that like one of those things, or was it like talking during that climbing sequence, or what?
Well, here's
Why
the
is
thing,
that-
Chags. That whole sequence is an allegory to Snake's arrival to a different plane. He's moving on with his life, and his life is entering a new chapter. That's what that ladder represents. There's no loading screens or anything. It's simply there to make a point.
Do you have to hold up for 15 minutes as well? Like,
Yes.
like, yeah, I would just change the channel, come back.
You're right. Let's go over to aux 3 and fucking do something else for a while. Just duct tape the controller. To be fair,
Yes.
Kojima's a genius, but not because of the ladder, but because of everything other than the ladder.
You know, you could be a mathematician genius, but it doesn't mean you're a good game designer. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't doubt he's genius.
Well, he's
And he's got
edgy. He's a
very
bad
cool
boy. He takes risks. He plays by his own rules. He doesn't let anybody tell him what's convenient and inconvenient.
God, I love Death Stranding, and I can't disagree with that.
Right? But you love
Okay.
Death Stranding solely because of the gameplay loop, right?
Oh yeah, I'm not a big fan of the story. It's
No,
fine.
like the
It's
story
good.
had me from like the
Works.
first 5 seconds. I was just like, I was crying. I didn't know what to feel. I was emotionally raw. And then they're just like, okay, now you gotta go make deliveries. I'm just like, I can't handle this. You know?
No, I was like, all right, yeah, stop yapping, give me the package.
Right.
You can-
But Death Stranding though, like, what's going on with you with Death Stranding, Benny?
What? Oh, I feel like. Okay,
Light on me.
it's nice when you come into a video game with vision, right?
Yep.
It can be helpful,
Mm-hmm.
but if you just have these weird things,
Mm-hmm.
like there's this whole soundtrack composed by an amazing composer and
Right.
a band who made fantastic vocal tracks.
Right.
You can only listen to them in your room,
Yep.
and you can't listen to them. You can't even craft like a tape player later or anything like that.
Nope.
And Death Stranding blocks out Spotify and onboard USB music players on PlayStation. You cannot
Rough.
listen to music.
That is rough. I will give you that. It's just like, I mean, no, I'm not even gonna fuck devil's advocate that shit. It's just annoying, is what it is.
It's not art to make you meditate all the time.
Hmm.
I'm just saying.
Look,
Mm.
no, like seriously though, like, yeah, I get that it's an experience, but like my whole life is an experience. Like sometimes I just need some tunes while I'm delivering a pizza or two. You know what I'm saying?
You delivering pizzas as well. That's what I want. Because he's got a baby there.
No, seriously.
I don't know why.
He's single
Is he
dad
like-
delivers pizza.
Like, is that the story? A single dad delivering pizza.
I feel like the child is more an allegory towards like the duality of like man and like the ability to overcome in any situation, but also the need to protect oneself from the entire world. You know what I'm saying?
But
Well,
what
is
he
that
means
his
to say
baby,
is
though?
yes.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
And are they actually pizzas delivered?
Yes, there are actually some pizza delivery missions. And like they're so funny and ingenious. It's like you're delivering pizzas to like one of your enemies, and like he gives you like upgraded versions of the guns in the game. I'm just like, oh my god.
Nice.
Well, the thing is that they're super challenging because you have to keep the pizza in a certain like position, so you have to load your
Mhm.
cargo in a very specific way. But it's also timed, and if the pizza gets there cold, he's like, "Yeah, you gotta do that shit again. Pizza was cold." You know, I'm just like, "Oh man,
But you can't just give it to him for free, like in real life.
nope."
And I guess that's the game element. I guess I'm thinking like, all right, 30 minutes is up. Free pizza. Here you go.
Right?
You know?
No, I got you. Hey, that Spider-Man stole that
He stole
dude's
that cat's
pizza.
pizzas.
Yeah,
Then you can do there's like a cheat to take a slice as well. You know?
right,
Hey, that's called a tip.
right.
They don't typically throw the pizza on the floor and just start whining. That'll be my game.
I
But,
just
like-
went through the apocalypse to get you this pizza. I feel like I deserve a slice.
Like
But
$5, are
delivering
you
pizzas
serious?
aside,
Yeah, right. Call that a tip? What the fuck?
how cool would it be if people actually gave you tips in Death Stranding? Like you show up, he's like, "Oh, you're on time. Here's your tip." I guess the likes are
you
your
do.
tip. Yeah.
No, items. You can get like.
Yeah, but it's only specific
rare items.
people. Yeah.
It's still a thing.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I find myself doing deliveries for the Carol artist all the time because I love her boots. They're so comfortable.
Nice.
Just walking around my gold booties, like, yeah, I'm
I just-
fly. That's me.
I just love it because it just sounds like you're like they're so comfy and they look good on me. They just make me complete, you know?
You know,
It's the perfect apocalyptic accessory.
like whatever.
Follow me on Instagram. Uh, but no, like, and Death Stranding is such a strange game because it's like you find these people who have never played it. Like anybody who says Death Stranding is just a walking simulator has never played Death Stranding, right? It's like it's the people who actually play it. It's like, no, it's actually really fun, blah 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 blah. Like some people are in for the story, some people are in for the wacky shenanigans, some people just like making deliveries. Other people like fighting giant goo monsters. That's me. I like ghost busting. It's a lot of fun.
We should redefine what a walking simulator is before we start calling things walking simulators.
I feel like we should just stop categorizing games in general because a lot of the categories are either outdated, don't fit a particular game, or like they're just dumb.
It depends.
It's a hot take.
In my opinion, it depends. Because in my opinion, it's very good sometimes. Because for me, if someone would be like, "How would you describe Doom?" I know, bring up Doom again. I would say arcade shooter because it's a shooter,
right?
But it's like arena based and power up and goofy and like crazy, right? It's not like a Call of Duty shooter.
Yeah,
so.
But you also call it like a shoot 'em up, or you call it like a third person shooter, or you can call it like an action shooter. Like there's so many different ways to go with it. They can be actually, but like it'd be like a first person shoot 'em up, but you'd still call it like a shoot 'em up.
Weird.
Yeah. Like Super Hot. That game actually falls into the category of shoot 'em up. Because there's like one level where you get a gun. Like, huh? What? Okay.
I think games need categories, but I feel like I'm not against categorizing games. I just feel like you should let be honest about them. Like, don't just use buzzwords and think, oh yeah, just because there's walking in this one scene, it means a walking simulator.
Right.
Like, people just call God of War walking simulator. There's a lot of action. There's a lot of climbing. There's a lot of other things. I feel like I'm trying to think of a game where I'm just holding forward for the longest. I guess there's a lot of games like in a lot of games where they try to be realistic as possible, and there's a lot of dialogue and lots of narrative. You can say they have similar elements.
Yeah. Because
there'll be lots of cutscenes where you're just kind of walking and hearing NPCs talk and you don't care. But
I mean, that is true. Like, and that goes back to like, you're right. Yeah, be honest with you, I don't hate categorizing video games. What I do hate is when developers use the buzzwords and you're like, look at this, it's the thing, it's the new hot, like whatever. I'm just like, but that's not what it is at all. You just want a fucking easy marketing tool instead of putting into work to like making like an actually good ad campaign. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I've come to consider like a lot of people, like the higher ups in like companies that actually play games. That's just what I think.
No,
it's
true.
A lot of people, they don't actually play games anymore.
I feel like the best games are made by people who like actually enjoy playing what they make. Like a really good example of this is the Monster Hunter team. Yeah, that's why Ben coughed. It's the Monster Hunter team because they play their own games and they make something that not only their fans will enjoy, but something they want to enjoy, which is really good. Like I don't know if like Arc System or like what's his face, the director guy that plays his own games, but I get that same feel from like Guilty Gear.
He composes the music, bro.
Right? I know that, but like I don't know whether he plays or what does he mean? Like
he's a Soul Bad guy main.
Oh fuck yeah, man of culture, dignified taste.
It makes sense. Look at the tier list. No way.
I don't want to just assume they'll be like, yeah, that guy, fucking Soul Bad guy, man, he's fucking coolest motherfucker around, you know?
Yeah. Honestly, a lot of people think it's a self-insert, and I kind of agree.
Well, you can tell. The thing is, you can tell when a game's like made by people who don't know like what their fan base wants or like even what they want. Like the best example of this is probably Dead Space 3, where it's just such a cookie cutter third person, like, oh look, there's co-op in it, nightmare, like. And the weapon upgrade system went from being super cool and interesting from 1 to 2 to being like, oh look, you slap a bunch of chips in there and it does stuff. It's just, the game itself is like, it plays fine, it's a game, the combat is combat, but there's no soul there. Like, what Dead Space was just isn't in that game. It's just, like, it was just made to make money by people who don't care what a dead or a space actually even is.
Yeah, that's what happens, man. Eventually, the higher ups feel like, "Oh gosh, this is what's in store now, and then this is what's popular." And then they tell the people like look down the chain to just make that, because essentially, it's about making money, man. That's and
that is true. Like video games, like yes, they are art. They can't be considered art, but like at the end of the day, it's a product. You're selling something, and I can understand and respect that. But like, I also feel like you should respect the people who buy your products as well. You know?
Yeah. I feel like I don't know. I feel like you shouldn't insult your audience, man. Don't just think that you're gonna buy anything. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of remember the whole Fortnite when Fortnite first came out, and then now every game started doing like battle royales, like Battlefield, Call of Duty.
Oh god, don't even remind me. Those were
you
dark
know that-
times.
We're still in
you
those times.
Oh god, are we? I just stopped paying attention. Oh my god, I really hoped like this shit wave just passed, but apparently we're still riding it out.
You
This
guys,
is the dark timeline.
Oh man.
you guys know that Fortnite was the copycat, right?
Oh, was it?
Oh,
Oh, did it copy PUBG?
It was a survival game mode that where you built stuff to stop like zombies and stuff like that.
what DayZ or
No,
Oh,
Fortnite. And then it copied PUBG, and then it became more popular than PUBG.
oof.
It did start as that.
Oh yeah, wasn't it like an early access for like years because they were doing the campaign and it just kind of stopped?
Yeah, it had like a weird co-op campaign thing where you was like had to survive the night or whatever. That's why it was called Fortnite, I think. 'Cause you had to
Oh,
survive
really?
a fortnight or whatever.
I didn't know
Hilarious.
that. That's mildly interesting. I'll go ahead and I'll post about that on
Yeah.
the mildly interesting subreddit.
I think people have made videos about it, but there was a really good amount of people who enjoyed that first game mode, and now that game mode has been thrown in the trash, and those people are very sad.
And
Didn't
I
they
can
pre-order that
understand that.
game mode as well?
Hmm?
Didn't they pre-order that game mode as well? Like I remember you can buy that. You could buy that, I think.
I think it was and then it went free to play.
And get wrecked.
I think it was like $20. Yeah,
Oof.
no.
Yeah, get wrecked. That's oof.
Big oof, man.
I mean,
Oh,
like, very rarely do I back a Kickstarter, but when I do back something, I make sure that like they're gonna make good on their promises. Like the 5 or 6 I backed, I've gotten my money back out of it. So, but like I forgot the one time that I do actually back like a project and like it goes tits up, I'm just like, oh god, why did I do that?
and you wanted to believe, man. That's it.
Right?
Mhm.
There's nothing wrong with believing.
I mean, no, you're right, and I'd rather believe and be disappointed every time than never believe again.
Yeah. But,
To be fair, I did buy No Man's Sky day one, so.
but now, because you believed, it's now
It's
somewhat decent,
Benny.
right?
Yes.
Like you believed in the you that believed in the developer that believed in themselves, and they made a good game.
I totally didn't sell it a month later. Yeah.
You're a piece of shit, Benny.
Hey, I bought it again. What's the matter?
Sold it a month later, you
They
bought
won.
it back.
They won. They won twice.
Oh,
It got
Get
80
wrecked, man.
It got more like 40 out of me, but still.
damn.
Get wrecked, man. Shouldn't believe.
Okay, well, guys, we're approaching an hour. Do we want to keep going, or we want to do wrap up?
I think we should wrap up, man. I've
Wrap
got
up?
to go to the toilet.
Oh, go for it. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, let's actually, wrap
Yeah.
it up, everybody. So takeaways from today. Chag, what do you think your main points were?
Touching a few points. Monster Hunter's the greatest game.
Yes,
Multiplayer game.
absolutely.
Games aren't like how they used to be. Because
No.
There's not a lot of recent games I've sat down and played.
True.
Growing up sucks.
Yes, it does. I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But I like money, so.
yeah, true. And games need to remember how to do games.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Betty, what is your takeaway from this episode?
Honestly, I would say one of the things Chag said about they don't make games to be like games anymore. They feel like they're trying to be more than a game instead of just being gamey. I just said games so much.
Gamey games are gamey. Yeah.
And I think you meant it in a visual sense, but I mean it as like a total package sense as well. Because I really do feel like there aren't many games that are trying to be like high scorey or arcadey or like stuff like that.
It's talking sense.
Mm-hmm.
Dollars and cents.
Other than that, developers make good focused multiplayers. Don't just copy paste.
I feel like my main takeaway from this game is that Kojima is fantastic, and I simp way too hard for David Cage. So, yeah, on that note, it's time to wrap up. I appreciate all of you guys showing up, especially you, Chags. I know we had some like logistical stuff that was kind of hard, but I appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedule to come talk with us, banana hooligans.
No worries, man.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was fun.
Also, I just realized I hit the stream button instead of the recording button, so we've been live for over an hour now.
What?
Oof.
Yep, that's my bad.
No
Okay,
worries.
well, it's fine. We did just do it like Huntcast. Not a big deal.
I mean, I'll just download the VOD and put that on my YouTube channel. Nobody will know.
Yeah, I mean, you could lightly edit it. You know.
True. And
Lightly.
so, since
I
we
feel
are
like-
live, I guess I'll put up the Remember Why You Started screen and say, follow me on Twitter. Follow Benny on Twitter. GFan on Twitter. Chags, you got a Twitter do you want to drop?
Mine's for lurking.
Oh, that's
So,
fair. No, that's
yeah.
totally fair. That's why I have a second Twitter, so I can just lurk on people. So I totally feel you, bro. Exactly. And so, as always, folks, thanks for showing up, and remember why you started.